Sharp Game here, coming at you on another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And today I'm going to talk about the expectations from a Japanese wife being a husband. So if you're living in Japan and you get married to a Japanese girl, I'm going to talk about what she's going to expect from you as a husband. Someone asked me this, and it's a good question, and it's really a simple answer. Work hard. That's it. Just work hard. And you know, there's a myth about Japan. You know, there's this thing where the guy is supposed to go to work 5 days a week, work 40 hours, and get overtime if you can, and bring the money home. The wife usually takes control of the finances, and she usually pays all the bills. She'll save some and pay the bills, right? And then, you know, the guy, you know, these guys, they don't work hard. You know, I had a couple of Japanese guys told me they take naps at work. They go to sleep an hour and a half. One guy said he get 2 hours. One guy said he take 30-minute naps. You know, now coming from a Western world, that's almost, we couldn't even imagine doing no shit like that. Most people. I mean, if you get caught sleep at a job at some place like Bank of America, you're fired on the spot. But in Japan, they take naps at a lot of these companies, places that they work for, and they don't work hard. And even when they appear to be working, they're not. They're doing everything else but work. And a lot of times, a lot of these guys, they don't necessarily, they'll leave home, they'll disappear, go somewhere on the weekends. They're not actually going to work. They're just not at home. So the perception of just going to work is okay in Japanese culture. You know, it's not the things that you might value as far as being a husband or being a father and take care of your family. That doesn't really matter in Japanese culture. You know, it's like if let's say you got off work early, right? And you looking forward to going home and seeing your wife and kid. Now, if you show up early, she's going to be looking at you funny style like, what are you doing here? You're like, she's going to get uncomfortable. You're going to be in the way because she, has her daily routine of what she does with the kids. So you're coming home to see your kid and to see her, it might not be a warm welcome. You know, she might feel uncomfortable with that. She might feel a different type of way when it comes to that. And it doesn't really matter how much money you make either. It matters to a certain extent, but you don't have to make $10,000 a month. That won't really impress most Japanese people. I mean, just the idea that you're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and leaving at 7 o'clock to go to work, in their minds, that's good. You know why? Because everyone else does it. That's why. So just the idea that you're doing something else that everyone else does it. Her father probably done it. Her mom probably done it. Her brother probably does it. Her cousin probably does it. But just the perception of you doing something that everybody else is doing, that's cool. And if you do anything outside of that, what's not considered to be the norm, that's not so cool. That probably won't go over well. because you have to understand, in Japan, most people are doing the same thing 7 days a week for the past 100, 200 years, or probably longer than that, And if the wife worked part-time or full-time, the money that she make is hers. And she does whatever she wants to do with it. And the money that you make is hers as well. So if she takes your money and pays the bills and saves the rest, but the money she has, she goes shopping and does whatever she want to do with it. And a lot of Japanese women are big spenders in Japan as well. They buy them brand name bags and like Coach and Prada and all that shit. A lot of Japanese women are big spenders, man. So the money that they make part-time or full-time, or maybe she has a career, she takes her money and she goes shopping, does whatever she wants, and she'll take your money and give you a certain amount back, probably maybe 1,000 yens or something like that, or just enough for you to make it until the next payday, basically. So her money is your money, and her money is her money as well. And then if y'all have kids, as a husband, you're not expected to show up at school events or anything like that. It's usually a mother's type of party, a mother's type deal. If you show up at the event that your kid or your son is having at the school, even though in your mind it's a good deed, it's something that's probably been done to you as a kid. Maybe your father did the same thing to you. You want to be there for your kids, but the Japanese people there are probably gonna look at you like funny style, and they probably gonna get uncomfortable. They're probably gonna be thinking like, "Well, the mother's here, and what the hell he's doing here?" I'm telling you, because in Japan, a lot of the kids' functions, it's not expected for the husbands to show up, and most of the time, if your wife goes to hang out with her friends or sometimes even family, the husband is not really expected to show up. Really, the husband is just expected to work hard. That's it. Just work hard. So you got Japanese guys that will work 6-7 days a week, pretend that they're working 6-7 days a week. Mostly they're working 40 hours. But come Saturday, they'll disappear and go somewhere else. Maybe go to another woman's house or go to their friend's house or some shit like that. Or they just blowing time. Because they just want to stay away from the house. Because if he's at home, that's not considered to be productive as a husband in Japan. And when it comes to making money, if you have some other way of earning money, that's going to be very difficult to get across to your wife, because everyone else is doing the same shit. Everyone else is just saving money, or maybe they'll invest into some type of membership, timeshare, some shit like that or whatever. But that's to the extent. They don't invest money in the stuff like we do in the Western world, especially living in America. If you leave America and you go to Japan and you get married to a Japanese girl and you start talking about investing in the startups and stuff online, and oh my goodness, that's gonna go over her head. Because in Japan, they don't utilize the internet like they do in America. And that's going to be very difficult for her to wrap her mind around that, because no one is doing that in her family 9 times out of 10. And she probably don't know anybody else is doing that, even with her friends. So that's going to be very difficult, you know. And plus, in Japan, if you start talking about working from home or any of that shit, oh my goodness, you know, that's really that's not gonna go well, because working from home is not a concept that a 50, 60, 70-year-old Japanese person can. They don't even understand that. You know, it's like that's like some imaginary bullshit to them. So a guy or husband that's productive has to go outside somewhere to the office and work hard and earn money. But a guy that's making money from home, that doesn't exist to them. They don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm talking about. And this is what can be frustrating sometimes. Because in Japan, see, it's not about the result. It's just about the image of and the perception more than anything else. And this is what's so frustrating for a lot of people coming from the Western world, especially somebody coming from America. Because to us, at the end of the day, most people would say it's all about the results. Look how much money I made versus working that job, or versus pushing and grunting, right? I'm doing this the smart way. This is smart work, not hard work, right? But in Japan, no, that's not gonna go well. It's all about the perception of working hard, the hard-working man. As a matter of fact, if you ask most girls in Japan what type of guy they want to be with, they would say, "Oh, a hard-working man that's kind. You know, he's a good provider. You know, so hey, is he funny? Does he make you laugh? You know, they don't say too much about that or whatever. You know, but that's just their perception of looking at things. You know, they don't really they don't really care about the result at all. It's all about the perception, the image, because you know, everyone in Japan for the most part are doing the same thing, and they've been doing the same thing for a long time. So what happens is the values that you have might not go so well with your wife and her family, because when you get married to a Japanese girl, everyone's watching you. You got the in-laws, you got the neighbor, you got the brothers and sister-in-laws. So it's like when you're around them, everyone's watching, and as soon as you make one mistake, it's gonna be like they make a big deal about it, like they start saying that, they can't believe that you made a mistake, and it kind of like it amplifies after a while, so it can be very frustrating, and it can be very stressful at times for some people. It can be a struggle for some people too. This is why a lot of people don't stay in Japan very long, because it's too much shit you have to really think about, and it can be overwhelming. So this is why some people will stay for a couple months, a couple years, and they'll leave. It happens a lot. It really does. So if you have any questions, leave your comments and concerns below, and subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.